Yeah, I think it definitely is a trade-off, and I can speak to that in terms of, deciding to play football. It came to a point at one point in my life where I knew at some point, the games were over with. I had to grow up very quickly. And then when I got to the point, I always knew this one particular fact about my upbringing and my family. I knew that back in Fort Smith, Arkansas, there were tons of different factories, and that was the main job for many of my relatives. And I know when
Mm,
I was growing up, I was thinking, do I really want to go and have a factory job? I don't want to do that. So this football thing has got to work out, right? So I put all
yeah.
my eggs into that one basket. And, I think the
Mm,
lesson is in life as you get a little bit older, but it goes back to speak to what you talked about in your book in terms of allowing the kids to have an opportunity to be a child, right? And not to take on those responsibilities too early, because it definitely matures them in a different way than the child that gets a chance to be young and have those experiences with their family and not have the pressure on them that they need to work, or
yeah.
if I don't work, the lights are not going to come on, or if I come home, you mentioned it in your book, there were times where you would come and there was no lights, and you had mentioned that different times where it said no electricity, you'll come home and there's some confusion and there's some sadness. Then you talked about, but if you come to a dark home, it got to a point where it's like business as usual. Like, I'm used to this, right? And that's something that we can
Yeah.
talk about kids not having to experience. So you spoke
But
to that.
but you shouldn't have to be used to that.
That's right.
You shouldn't have
Right.
to come home
Right.
to dark house and then go, oh, all right, candle protocol in place, get the ever ready flashlights, let's set those up, and we ready to roll.
That's right.
Sorry. But
Hmm.
that should not be the norm. But that was for a while after my pops passed, especially because he was the breadwinner. So you just don't want to be in a place where, like, the book is setting up this idea of how do you give your children the values you have without the traumas that instill that value in you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know how, but that's the challenge. Oh, you have all of these wonderful characteristics and traits that have helped make you successful, but you got them too soon.
Mm.
So you lost a little piece of yourself, didn't you? So how do you pass that on to your son? How do you give them that value without, like, how do you recreate? Tommy Johnigan, who's a great friend of mine, a comedian. Tommy Johnigan said something that was just, it stuck with me for 15 years now. He said, one of the biggest drawbacks of success is that you can't recreate poverty
Mm.
for your kids. How do you recreate struggle? So, as a man, I feel fortunate that I got a lot of values, some from my pops, but a lot came from other people that came in and out of my life. No different than you in a factory town where you saw what you felt like was like, you might take pride in that, but I don't want to do that for the next
Hmm.
40 years. So I'm going to go figure out how to do this. I saw a lot of that on the road as a young comic. I worked day labor with cats who was just ecstatic to be making $6.50 an hour. Thrilled.
Yeah, that story is wild, man. The
Yeah.
Philadelphia guy chapter.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
It's like you're working with people who the whole time, it's like some Twilight Zone shit, man, where it wasn't so much that you were working this job that nobody sets out to work day labor. Let's just say that off the rip. It's an honest day's work, but I guarantee you it probably wasn't your goal. But if you're doing this and you're not wanting more, dreaming more, at least want to be the foreman.
That's
Don't you
right.
want to get a CDL and run the forklift, or you want to keep being the one loading the pallet for the forklift? Forklift Negro got it easy. He kicked back, got his Walkman on. Damn, I'm old. I said Walkman.
It's all right.
But-
We're all of
He
age.
told-
We're all of
yeah,
age.
He told him, you told on yourself.
yeah.
So funny.
But like this idea of figuring out where you can create these opportunities for your kids to get the values without tripping them up somehow. That's hard.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers, Priest, $5. You just bet that and you can get $200 in bonus bets. Win or lose. So sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Win or lose.
Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only. 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly, and you must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, and Kentucky, as well as Louisiana and select parishes. Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
This has been a Playmaker production.